things emerging now that have taken place in Amsterdam. Truly horrifying. We know that 5 people have been conveyed to hospital. Other reports are suggesting 10 people might have been injured. There are other unconfirmed reports suggesting that the Israeli government have lost contact with some of its citizens who were in Amsterdam. And indeed, there's even another unconfirmed report that there could be a hostage situation now taking place. What we do know is there were gangs, Arab gangs is how they're being described, even in reports by the Financial Times, for example, who went out hunting for Jewish people and Israeli people on the streets last night. We had Peter from Hendon, who was over, an Ajax fan, at the football game between Maccabi Tel Aviv and Ajax over in the Dutch capital, saying he intervened, almost saved someone's life. He was being pummeled, kicked in the head. He had his glasses broken, had to go to hospital himself, and described scenes where he believed, hundreds of people in coordinated gangs were going out hunting for Jewish people on the streets of Amsterdam. 62 arrests so far have been made. Geert Wilders, the leader of the Dutch People's Party, Dutch Freedom Party, the PVV, have said there's been a pogrom in the streets of Amsterdam. We have become the Gaza of Europe. Muslims with Palestinian flags hunting down Jews. I will not accept that. Never. The authorities will be held accountable for their failure to protect the Israeli citizens. Never again. The latest as well, Israel's Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu has condemned the violent attacks as horrifying. The city's police said they've started a major investigation into multiple violent incidents following the UEFA Europa League game. And they're having to be extra present around various Israeli or Jewish sites in the capital. I'm just staggered by this. I cannot wrap my head around how awful the scenes appear to have been last night. Hundreds of young Arabic men going out trying to hunt down. It appears that they were trying to hunt down Jewish people on the streets of Amsterdam. The Israeli Prime Minister has vowed to send 2 aircraft, evacuation aircraft, to the Netherlands to retrieve football fans. But the Israeli Defence Forces have said it's been now instructed to cancel that mission. Israeli President Isaac Herzog has described the violence as an anti-Semitic pogrom. Lots of footage now circulating on social media showing what appears to be a very, very disturbing. I don't know what you call these. Just don't know what you call these scenes, quite frankly. Appalling, harrowing. Let's speak to Jonny Gould, who's a journalist and broadcaster. Johnny, you were trying to phone me this morning, and I said, a few minutes before I went in, I said, what's Johnny? And I'm like, of course. You yourself are Jewish. You're also a sports reporter, amongst other strings to your bow. I mean, you just don't imagine this happening on the streets of Europe.
Tomorrow is the 88th anniversary of Kristallnacht in Europe, where the Nazis in Berlin decreed that anyone who was a patriot could go out and smash up Jewish shops and burn down synagogues. It's literally the eve of the anniversary. It was a spree of violence. Jews were murdered on the streets. As you said, there's the possibility of a hostage situation. Israelis have been lost contact with. It's been escalated very fast. I'm very pleased to hear what Geert Wilders had to say about it, as you'd expect, with his kind of leadership that we've seen over the last decade or so now that he's in charge. And it's been escalated to state leadership. President Isaac Herzog has spoken to King Willem Alexander, and they have exchanged discussions. This is the most explicit warning to Europe about those who say globalize the Intifada. When they talk about globalizing the Intifada, this is what they mean.
Are you worried? Are you worried, actually, that, what we're... let's not mince our words here. What we're seeing is Arabic gangs going around hunting Jewish people. They were part of a pro-Palestine protest that apparently the mayor of Amsterdam had tried to ban and said this can't take place. We're hearing reports of mobs, 300 strong, that sound like they were coordinated. Are you worried that this could inspire copycat action over here in the United Kingdom?
God forbid it will. But I will say one thing. I was in Amsterdam, Alex, about 3 or 4 months ago, and I went to the scene of a theatre, a former Jewish theatre in Amsterdam. There was a very big Jewish population before the Second World War, and that was a place where they rounded up the Jews and then they sent them off to Nazi camps around the rest of the continent, Auschwitz, etc. You see them dotted around all of Central Europe. If you go to Berlin, you know that you'll see places where the Jews were rounded up. You see it in France. The place you don't see them is here in this blessed country, because we fought these guys. And that's the most important thing to remember. We in this country, God willing, have a slightly different history to continental Europe. Thank God I can't go anywhere in London or Birmingham, Manchester, Glasgow, Edinburgh, Belfast. I can't go anywhere where the Jews were rounded up. And that's what we have to remember about this great country, so that when our leadership, and I hope the leadership come out and say this, is that when they pay lip service to anti-Semitism, they really mean it, because in this country we have a proud and different history to that of continental Europe.
Yeah, I mean, what has life been like, you know, for you, let's say, or people from the Jewish community with pro-Palestine marches? Have things been escalating? Do you feel safe?
Not always. I can't go into the West End at the weekend very easily, or if I do, I have to be a general member of the public. Can't wear any skull cap or koppel or anything like that knocking around. If I go to synagogue, I have a quick look round left and right to see if there's a car that's ramming too fast. Our synagogue has been built in a post-21st century kind of way. It is like a fortress. There is a sentry post. We've got muscle on the front. It's a tragedy. We've got people on the front of our school as we drop the kids off. I'm careful when we cross the road. I don't like that. It's well known about ramming and all these kind of things. I don't want to talk about it too much, but yeah, it's different. And the thing is, it's everyone's fight here. You know, when those people go on the rampage in Amsterdam, it's a Dutch problem. They want to destroy the West, and Holland is the West, as is Britain, America, everywhere. Israel's the West as well. And people have got to kind of really understand this. It's not an Israeli war, it's a war of the world here.
Yeah, Jonny, thank you so much for coming on and giving us updates there of what appears to be a really harrowing turn of events overnight in Amsterdam.